So there's this huge meltdown from Trump's most fervent fan base regarding this. President Trump orders ICE to largely pause illegal alien raids on farms, hotels, and restaurants. Effective today, please hold on all worksite enforcement investigations and operations on agriculture, including aquaculture and meatpacking plants, restaurants, and operating hotels. Email from official per New York Times and confirmed by Department of Homeland Security spokesperson. And well, this is many people are really angry. Why is Trump doing this kind of I don't know, like some illegals are more illegal than others? But we're going to get into the topic that some have committed horrific crimes like murder and maybe human trafficking, and other are, well, just illegally in the country. That's one thing. But you have to remember, we need to remember, go a bit back in time, that in Trump's official website that is still up, you can remember those 20 policies in which he ran his campaign. And of the 20 policies, the first one was, number one, seal the border and stop the migrant invasion. All right, that has largely been done. Okay. Then number two, carry out the largest deportation operation in American history. That was number two. Now, my question is, if that was so important, because was number two, how does concessions work in that system? How do you make concessions of that? It's like, okay, well, you know what? We're going to pause, and if they're working at a farm or at a hotel or a restaurant, then just skip them. How does that work? So Stephen Miller might be really confused right now. And just in case you want to hear the man talking about that, breaking, President Trump says he will make changes to how ICE targets farm workers and hotel employees. Let's listen from the man himself.
Are being hurt badly by, they have very good workers. They've worked for them for 20 years. They're not citizens, but they've turned out to be, great. And we're going to have to do something about that. We can't take farmers and take all their people and send them back because they don't have maybe what they're supposed to have, maybe not. And you know what's going to happen, and what is happening? They get rid of some of the people because, you go into a farm and you look, and people they've been there for 20, 25 years, and they've worked great, and the owner of the farm loves them and everything else, and then you're supposed to throw them out. And you know what happens? They end up hiring the people, the criminals that have come in, the murderers from prisons and everything else. So we're...
wait a second. So, but at the same time, you're telling me that there are people in the agriculture industry and hotels and restaurants and whatnot who have purposefully hired illegal labor, to pay less for them. Of course, it's like you can get away paying less. That is the general idea, because I guess that there are special visas. If you are coming to work on agriculture, there are specific visas for that. But if you're an illegal, and if there is a business who is hiring illegals for these jobs and has been doing that for decades in some instances, and I see so many updates on X. Efren, I think this is the name of one guy that was shared online without his identity. Efren has been working here for 20 years. All right, so he has been working as an illegal for 20 years? How does that work? How is that a win? Explain me like I'm 5, because I don't get it. But that's the thing. That is it's a bit of incongruency that is inflaming the Trump's fan base.
So we're going to have an order on that pretty soon. I think we can't do that to our farmers, and leisure too, hotels. We're going to have to use a lot of common sense on that.
Yeah, at the same time, there's a bit of a conflict of interest in there, because that Trump's business is heavy into hotels. So, oh my God. And thanks to incredulous peasant that no, Trump isn't supporting amnesty, those farm and hotel, etc. illegal workers have to self-deport, and then they will have a chance to return legally and fully vetted. That is Incredulous Peasant's opinion. That could be a thing, that you self-deport and then you re-enter the country. But can you imagine how long will it take for that process to happen? If you're working at a farm, the farm cannot stop through that process. Just like every other illegal that opts for self-deportation. By the way, Trump spoke about this at his cabinet meeting and on April 10th. Okay, I'm gonna pump up the volume in here.
Work with people so that if they go out in a nice way and go back to their country, we're going to work with them right from the beginning on trying to get them back in legally. Is that right?
A chance to come back.
So it gives you a real incentive. Otherwise, they never come back. They'll never be allowed once a certain period of time goes by, which is probably going to be 60 days. We're also going to work with farmers that if they have strong recommendations for their farms for certain people.
So you need strong recommendations. All right, how do you validate those strong recommendations? Can you imagine the level of? I come from a country. I come from Venezuela, and I know that how can this be exploited? So many illegals that can't just get letters of recommendations from farmers, because this has to be urgent. If somebody has a legit, let's say, I'm going to play devil's advocate as usual. Let's say that you're an illegal, you have been 20 years in the country, you have been working at a farm, and you have been, besides entering the country illegally, you have stopped at every stop sign. You have not done anything wrong. You have worked tirelessly for 20 years. That is awesome. And you get a letter of recommendation so they can speed up your process. Even so, I can imagine that, criminals and people with committing actual crimes besides, entering the country illegally, are going to exploit this. I can imagine 10 ways this can be exploited in terms of corruption and yes, it is going to be exploited. It's extremely easy, especially because of the rush that it seems that it is being done. So the pausing of the farms and restaurants and hotels, it is my opinion, is going to be way more a mess. It's going to be a complete mess. It's going to degrade Trump's fan base. It's going to degrade confidence on what people voted for Trump in the first place, because that was very high up on that 20 policies list as number 2.
We're going to let them stay in for a while and work with the farmers and then come back and go through a legal process. But we have to take care of our farmers and hotels and various places where they need the people. And we're going to be working with you very carefully on that. So a farmer will come in with a letter concerning certain people saying they're great, they're working hard.
Yeah, that absolutely. I have zero doubts that is going to be exploited.
We're going to slow it down a little bit for them. And then we're going to ultimately bring them back. They'll go out. They're going to come back as legal workers.
Imagine that somebody has maybe you don't have a criminal record, but you have committed crimes and they haven't caught you, and you want to it's like laundering money. It's like laundering money, but you're laundering people in this case. You're self-laundering. It's like you pay a farmer who is willing to accept the money, and they issue you a recommendation letter, and you get out of the United States and then get inside the United States with a clean record. And now you are legal, and even if you committed crimes, maybe if you haven't been processed, if you haven't been caught once, you can essentially become a quote unquote legal. This again. I'm telling you, this is going to be exploited, and many people don't like this. Matt Walsh, how Trump can completely destroy his legacy in 2 easy steps. Number 1, get us involved in a war in the Middle East. And already made an analysis of Netanyahu regarding this. And number 2, give amnesty to illegals on behalf of the hotel industry and big AG, big agriculture. Yeah, many people don't like this. Many people are against this. Cernovich, Trump's new agenda, This is, of course, and paraphrasing, 500,000 visas for communist China spies. You know that Trump said that 500,000 Chinese students, they should stay in the country. I don't have the clip, but he's literally said that. Those 500,000 Chinese students, they should stay in the country. And the anti-American universities who soak up those dollars. Amnesty for big AG and factory farming practices using illegal immigrants, and war with Iran. Nobody wants any of that. Nobody voted for that. Michael Flynn Jr. Aren't big AG and big hotel the two industries that employ the most illegals? They do so for a reason. And now we're apparently going to give amnesty to millions of illegals working in these industries. And I'm sure they all hardworking and non-violent. Again, this how do you vet that? You are trusting farmers to vet those people. And you are trusting that all those farmers are completely good people. It's too much trust. It's too much. It's a chain of trust that can be broken at so many steps. In addition to giving these industries a pass on the practice of hiring illegals, which is the most important thing. I'd love to hear an explanation from a non-leftist nut job who thinks this is a good idea. But I would like to know, what do you think about this in the comments? Because, yeah, this is a very contentious topic and a very divisive topic. And I would like to know what you think about this in the comments. Meanwhile, here's another video that you might find enlightening for this and related topics. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the Power Pundit. Much love and bliss.